I remember so little about what the fandom used to be before the internet. So far, it has been steady throughout its lifetime, yet I was born just as it was finding its footing. That was probably around 1997 or so. I used to think the fandom revolved around a bunch of people gathering together to talk about several things. Sometimes it was about the latest SpongeBob episode or an upcoming video game that got a lot of hype. I was already a fan of this kind of stuff, so I knew what was going down for me. I was already busy playing games, watching movies, and operating blog posts. I was minding my own business one single point in time when I came across a website I don't recall seeing before. For privacy reasons, I will not show you the name of the site, but I will call it something along the lines of lostandfoundmovies.com because it revolved around that kind of stuff. It was a site dedicated to found media of several shows, but none of the videos were on YouTube at the time, and you had to download them yourself to do with whatever you pleased with them. It was practically a mix of the Internet Archive and Lost Media Wiki. The videos in question varied. Usually they were pencil tests or storyboards from movies and episodes that never made it on the air or in theaters. Others were actual scenes that were pulled out. Some of these episodes were in their final production phases and were about ready to release, but were unexpectedly pulled off the air for no reason. Yet they popped up here for all to see. One video was simply titled Mario's Last Episode, Unreleased. The word Mario brought to mind a certain video game character I truly loved. I've been playing the Mario franchise since I was a toddler, and I haven't stopped since then. The thumbnail was just a spotlight illuminating Mario's cap on a concrete floor. The bottom left had a blue 2D version of the hat with the letters S, G, and 4 written on it. The symbol for longtime YouTube machinima producer SMG4, who specialized on characters from the franchise as well as other characters by Nintendo. He did his own characters as well, often using assets from Nintendo models. I had a crush on one of his original characters, Meggy, due to her beautiful design, cute voice, and her status as a mainstream character in the series. The video had no description, no comments, and no hearts, which were the like system for the site. There was only one download. This was strange, seeing that all the other videos had more crap than this. Trying to support the uploader, I downloaded the video and hearted it. I also noticed that the video itself was 30 megabytes, far more than what a video would usually take up, but it also made the download last longer. It was okay, as my computer had 125 gigs on the hard drive. Once the download finished, I went to the video folder and clicked on it. The first thing that occurred once the video player opened was that something popped up that resembled an FBI warning of sorts. I clearly know that SMG4 videos never had FBI warnings. However, this warning had different text that had nothing to do with copyright infringement or piracy. Warning. This is an episode of the Super Mario Glitchy 4 blooper series that was removed due to content that was deemed too disturbing and graphic for mainstream audiences. If your heart is not weak, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. This warning did unnerve me a bit, mainly at the "you have been warned" part. But I had been dealing with these characters long to know that it won't startle me a bit. so I pressed forward with the video. It sickens me just thinking about those hellish images. I wish I had heeded that warning, or at least tried to make them go away. Nevertheless, I'll try to explain why it's seen in those 17 minutes. A twisted, disgusting, nightmarish vision of what was supposedly a lost series finale to the bloopers of SMG4. A supposed tie-up of all loose ends from all the arcs that were left behind. The video will begin with 5 seconds of black screen, followed by the regular SMG4 intro, albeit more glitchy than usual. Mario, in a distorted voice, says, "So long, Gay Bowser!" which brought me chuckles. It later pains me just thinking about it because of the status of the video. The intro fades into a shot of Peach's castle going into the foyer, where SMG4 and friends are watching the latest Nintendo Direct. After a few minutes of spoof trailers and gags, another trailer began, this one being Sephiroth's appearance in Super Smash Each Other in the Ass Brothers, portrayed by Cloud with gray hair and a longer sword. The trailer had usual SMG4 Gmod animations, where Sephiroth was bouncing around like a ragdoll, slashing wooden targets. As the trailer comes to an end, the camera cuts to several shots of the cast with various reactions. The most surprising, however, was the shot of Maggie, who had a shocked expression on her face. Tears are flowing down as flashback scenes of Destiny getting stabbed in the chest by Sephiroth are barely visible and flashing on screen with 1 second per shot. Once the flashbacks are over, Maggie breaks down in tears and runs off. The happy-go-lucky music cuts out here. Mario. Maybe she didn't like Mario's wiener. Tori. Wait a minute. We still have 30 minutes before the stream ends. The video cuts to Maggie's house, where she is holding a picture of Destiny. Her eyes are now red from crying, and there are still tears flowing. Everything is darker and the music is somber. Maggie. I wish there was some way to bring you back. What do we do to deserve this? She ponders why everybody hates anime and humans, even though they didn't deserve to have that. Out of nowhere, Shadow Maggie, an embodiment of her negativity, appears. The scenery gets darker and darker every time Shadow Maggie talks. They don't hate anime. They fear it. Fear they will destroy their society as they know it. And this is just the beginning. They will just about believe anything the media says just because they can. They're just that predictable. They will shun you for minor circumstances and genetic mutations. Anything that does not turn into a squid is not like them. All they care about is themselves. Maggie. That is not true. Shadow Maggie. Oh, so true. Not to mention that fact that this is all caused by your friend. Maggie. Friend? What friend? Shadow Maggie. That Mario guy? The weird schmuck who eats spaghetti all the time? It's all because of his stupid anime challenge. If it wasn't for him, that other friend would still be alive and you wouldn't be exiled from home. Maggie gives up fighting back and breaks into tears. Shadow Maggie. I told you, you can't trust anybody but yourself. After what seemed like forever of Maggie crying and Shadow Maggie staring down on her, Maggie finally looks up. Shadow Maggie. So, are you ready to get back at your oppressors? Maggie. Yes. Maggie's voice sounds just as deranged and sinister as Shadow Maggie's, only deeper to make her sound like an adult, which is ironic since she's 19 years old. The next scene takes place back in the castle. Mario was minding his own business eating spaghetti without clothes on when the castle door slam open, revealing nothing outside, just pitch blackness. Out of nowhere, the black void charges straight at Mario. Mario's hilarious screams are drowned out by the sounds of ripping guts and bone cracking. I could see nothing done to Mario, as the void blocked out any side of him. By the time the void leaves, all that remained of Mario was a realistic-looking skeleton, with muscle parts, gouged out eyes, organ remnants, and a pool of maroon blood. I practically vomited at his corpse. The void, which I assumed to be Maggie, went for Bob and Boopkins next, which made sense since they're the ones who brought up the idea of the anime challenge. She found them in a nearby room where Boopkins was playing with Miku dolls, and Bob was recording a cover of Intergalactic by Beastie Boys. Maggie once again did unthinkable actions to the duo, this time leaving behind Boopkins' hair and Bob's robes. One by one, the cast was picked off by Maggie, each having grotesque fates. Tori and SMG-4 had burn marks and were found near SMG-4's destroyed computer, with Tori had something in her throat that had the shape of a game controller. Psycho had her skull bashed in by her hammer. The next scene went to Ingopolis on a rainy day, which was strange seeing that Inklings dissolve in water. At the city bay, 2 Inklings in raincoats were fishing for salmonids when they caught something that took their fishing rod. Up swam a large black blob, far bigger than a boss salmonid, which ripped off the dock the Inklings were standing on, killing them both. Nobody could recognize it. It was just a massive beast walking around, its footsteps making small earthquakes and rumbling sounds that sounded nothing like thunder. Its massive size caused it to tear through buildings like paper. The city had no military force, so they had to shoot it with any weapons they had. It didn't work, and hundreds of Inklings were squashed like bugs, both underneath the monster's feet and in the rubble of the chaos. The monster had rampaged into downtown, where the Squid Sisters worked in their studio. Marie was on vacation, but Callie felt and heard the footsteps and had looked out the window to investigate. All she saw was a 50-foot-tall mass of ooze walking towards her. It stopped in front of her and kneeled down to face her eye to eye. It was when Callie knew what she was looking at. On its head was the red beanie, headphones of goggles of former Splatfest champion Maggie Spletzer. Callie was astonished and horrified at the same time, wondering what could make a champion turn into that. Yet she continued to stare as 2 bulging fish-like eyes opened up and aimed back at her. Amidst the growls of the beast, pitter-patter of rain, and distant screams of civilians, she heard a deep voice in front of her that almost seemed female. "You can't bring back the dead, Cal." That was the last thing she heard before a massive beam of light hit her in the face. She screamed as the heat engulfed her. In the next scene, Inkopolis was now in ruins, and the screams were now silent. Maggie was now back to her normal size and was once again a black void. She was all alone in the world she has destroyed out of rage. No more trauma, no more stupidity, no more arguments or wars. No purpose left here. Maggie no longer had anger or sadness. She was a pure immortal. Piano music played the whole scene. With nothing left to do on her world, Maggie flew up into the sky to explore the universe. The credits rolled, but the background was blank with gray symbols. There was no music, just the sound of wind and rain. Once the credits ended, it cut to black. I noticed there were at least 30 seconds left on the video, so I kept watching. When 25 seconds passed, an image popped up with a deafening screech. Something that will continue to haunt me in my dreams. Even if I won't remember this for a long time, I'll still think about it. There was a grayscale image of Maggie on a black background, but everything was blurred. She was just staring at the camera, but what was even scarier was her details. She had no hair, and her eyes were large, bulging, and fish-like. I could see a large smiling mouth with no teeth. I jumped out of my chair when it first popped up. When I got back up, I saw some sort of image for a split second before the video ended. I kept going back until I saw the message. I'll be here soon. Then the computer shut itself off until the next. It won't turn on until the next day. I was utterly shocked, and I wanted to know answers. I love this show, and this was an absolutely dark far cry from the rest of it. Practically everybody on the show is dead because of a minor convenience made Maggie snap. Yeah, SMG4 killed off characters before him, but would he really make things this bad? That's why I wanted to find out. I contacted him about the episode. This is what he said. Dear friend, thank you for telling me about this episode. I enjoy talking to fans of my bloopers, and I appreciate discussing this one episode. For some time, I've been planning to produce a series finale to the bloopers so that I would focus on other things, like spending time with my brother Kevin and other projects. I am hoping that the finale would help get YouTube off my ass for all the profanity in the series. It's still in a development phase. In that sense, the episode you saw is obviously made by somebody who wanted to end the series on their own accord. Keep in mind that this is not a canon episode and should not be regarded as such. I certainly don't want to kill off all my characters, nor do I want to see Maggie go mad. I want to give them all a happy ending, no matter how many adventures I put them on. It will probably take a long time before I can provide the real finale. The website you downloaded the episode from might also be fake. I can't find anything about the episode other than this one website, so it might have originated from there as a personal website for whoever made it. Thank you for taking your precious time reading this. Luke Lord Wichita. I still have the video on my computer, but I damn sure will not upload it. I don't want anybody else to see what I just saw. I have to stop writing now. It's getting late. I think I see two bright bulging eyes peeking through my window, and I need some time to lock on my doors. I cannot leave. She won't get in.